Okay, hi, this is segment 3 of a review with Annie Ellen McCall Fraser. We're going back through her history. I'm Powell Alexander Fraser Jr., her son, and we're talking about her life. And we started back in Florence, South Carolina, went through Queens College, and then up to New York City, and then down to Thornwell. We've been talking about memories and experiences that she had. So we're going to sort of pick up at Queens and Thornwell, but I'm going to go back and talk about a couple of things that we probably missed in the early segments. So, okay, Mom, let's talk about Montreat.
And also I need to talk about meeting Daddy.
We're coming up on that one in a little bit. So, before we get there, your earliest memories of Montreat in North Carolina. When you went up there, what do you remember of Montreat?
Well, we had a house in Myrtle Beach, which is much closer than Montreat. Montreat was 5 hours drive. My uncle, my father's brother, had a house in Montreat, and we had one at Myrtle Beach, and we traded every summer. We would go up to Montreat.
So what do you remember about Montreat
then?
At the
time, I remember the house and the location of it. It was fairyland to me. Those mountains really got to me, and I loved it. And we stayed there a good 2 or 3 weeks every summer, maybe a little longer than that, and maybe more than once. But it was a long 6-hour drive up from hometown in Florence, South Carolina.
So in that house, you bought the house next door.
No, not from that house. I was saying Bet's house.
So the house where Blanca was?
Not until 1930 something, mid-30s, did my mother and father buy their own house up there. We used my aunt's house.
Okay, so
and they used our Myrtle Beach house.
Okay, so let's talk about. So you went over to Blanca's house, which is up on Graybeard Trail. And so, do you have any memories from that house?
Oh, yes.
What's the one that comes to mind?
I remember Daddy building it.
He built it himself?
Yes, he took workers from the farm up on weekends and built the house in Montreat. And I was always a little embarrassed because it was sort of rough. It wasn't as polished as some of the other houses.
So what did you and friends go up there in the summertime?
Or yes, Mother let us take. I don't know how my mother did it, but she let us take as many. One time I had 14 friends up there for 4 days. I don't know how she did it, but she fed grits twice a day.
So just to stay on the Montreat topic for a while, you liked it so much that you bought the house next door in the 1960s, is that right?
1960 I bought it.
1960, and it was a house that you can describe what you took walls down and you modernized it, but some of the furniture is still there. They're from various places. So for people that are watching this in Montreat, if they're sitting in the living room or dining room of Montreat and they're looking around the room, there are certain pieces like take the secretary over to the right of the fireplace.
Now that was my mother's. That came from my grandmother, my mother's mother, and it's sad as I was growing up in our house on Chevy Street in Florence, and eventually. When Mother broke up housekeeping, I did not ask for that, but
so that's where it came from. Was
that's right.
Your grandmother. Now there's a little one-arm stool to the left of the fireplace that's really small that you got.
I got that over in
Venice.
In Venice, that's right. Venice, the little boats in Venice have one-arm chairs so that an adult can sit in them. I was fascinated with them, and it took me a long time and a hard time and a shattery kind of thing because they're not allowed to do that. I finally paid enough money to get an owner of a boat in Venice to sell me his one.
So the chair comes from Venice. So tell us about the dining room table. You had that custom made?
Yes, when I bought the house in Montreat. No, I had it custom made before that. I wanted a banquet table. but that's not the table that's up there now. The table that that has been used up there for all this time was the table I grew up with in Florence.
Okay, so
And
what other furniture in there
in the living room?
that comes to mind?
Stop.
Maybe a lot of us, I guess, down here. All right, so we'll keep going. So that's sort of the Montreat background, because that's been a big part of our family, and the house is still there, and everybody loves it. So before we get to your meeting Dad and taking it on from there, in looking back at I guess Florence, Queens, your early memories, there's Montreat. You went to Pawleys Island or Myrtle Beach?
Oh, went to not Polish Island.
To Myrtle Beach. All right, in Myrtle Beach there was a house, but it got washed away in a hurricane, or a street got washed away. Did something happen there? There was a big hurricane that I remember that took a block away. Maybe it wasn't this house, but it took some others. So that's not a story from way back. Okay, so that's going to finish this. We're going to finish the segment 3 here, and then we're going to move on to segment 4, and we're going to talk about how she met my dad, Powell Alexander Fraser. So we'll be right back to do that.